hustle beats talent when talent doesn't hustle. You've heard that before, but do you really get it? While you're sitting back waiting for the perfect moment, there's someone out there with less talent but more hustle making it happen. Every second you're hesitating, someone is outworking you. And guess what? You'll never catch up unless you start grinding right now. The clock's ticking. Are you in, or are you just wasting time? Let me hit you with the hard truth. You are wasting your time. Every second you waste is a second that could have been used to destroy the competition, to become the man you pretend to be but are too scared to become. The clock is ticking. Right now, someone is outworking you. They're hustling harder, pushing further, while you're still waiting for your perfect moment. Guess what? That moment never comes. You either get up and dominate, or you stay average, and no one remembers the average. Stick around or stay behind. The choice is yours. This is the moment where you decide if you're truly ready to face the harshest reality of your life. What if I told you that every decision you make right now is leading you down a path? One that either brings you to the top or leaves you in the dust of those who chose to work while you were sleeping. Think about that. Every lazy second, every time you hit snooze, every time you thought, I'll start tomorrow, someone else is outworking you. They're not waiting for tomorrow. They're making today count, and they'll leave you behind in the process. But here's where you get a chance to change everything. It doesn't take perfection. It just takes you realizing that your next move can be the one that changes everything. Right now, you're standing at a fork in the road. You can either keep going down the path you've always walked, or you can take control. You can grind like no one else is willing to. And when you do, watch how everything in your life shifts. Watch how you outgrow the version of yourself that used to make excuses, because when you hustle harder than anyone else, there's no stopping you. Let me explain something that will never be taught in school, never whispered in the workplace, and never admitted by the people around you. The man who wins is the man who works when others are watching TV. The man who eats while hungry, trains while tired, and studies while distracted. The man who doesn't wait to feel ready, he just moves. You think you're tired, you're not tired, you're undisciplined. You think you're burnt out, you're not burnt out, you're soft. And that softness is why someone with half your intelligence is passing you in life right now. He's not smarter than you, he's not stronger than you, but he's hungrier, he's willing to suffer longer, fight harder, and grind deeper. That's the edge. That's what separates the winners from the spectators. The truth is harsh, but it's liberating. You don't need luck. You don't need some secret blueprint. You just need to stop negotiating with weakness. The weak version of you wants excuses. It wants another hour of sleep. It wants to scroll, complain, and be distracted. But the real version of you, the one you dream of becoming, he's buried under your habits. He's locked behind years of delay. And every day you feed that weaker voice, that other version gets dimmer. That's why you're stuck. That's why you're not elite. You're not being held back by society, the system, or some secret conspiracy. You're being held back by the minutes you waste. Every wasted minute is a brick in the wall you're building between you and the life you want. That wall doesn't fall with luck. It doesn't fall with hope. It falls when you destroy the part of you that believes in taking it easy. I'll start tomorrow is the biggest lie you keep telling yourself. Because tomorrow turns into next week, and next week turns into a forgotten dream. Men who win don't wait for ideal conditions. They create pressure. They use adversity like fuel. When it rains, they train harder. When they're tired, they lean in. They operate when it's hard because they know something the average man doesn't. Life doesn't reward the comfortable. It rewards the obsessed. You don't stumble into greatness. You sacrifice your sanity for it. You earn it with blood, sweat, and the nights you wanted to quit, but didn't. Do you understand how far behind you are? Do you realize how many men out there are willing to suffer 10 times harder than you to take what you dream of having? Someone out there is working like their life depends on it, because it does. And you're waiting for motivation to arrive like it's a package in the mail. You don't need motivation. You need a standard, a level you don't drop beneath. You need to be the kind of man who says, if I have breath in my lungs, I will move forward. I will build. I will dominate. Because if you're not outworking every man around you, you're already behind. You're losing. And the world doesn't pity the man who almost made it. The world only remembers the one who refused to be outworked. You think I got here by chance? You think I became successful because I had time to rest and recharge? I became successful because I made rest a reward, not a requirement. Because while everyone was obsessed with balance, I was obsessed with becoming undeniable. I sacrificed peace for progress. I traded sleep for success. I stopped asking myself how I felt and started asking what needs to be done. That mindset is what turned a nobody into a name they can't ignore. You can do the same. You have what it takes. But you've been taught to believe that life should be fair, that success should come without struggle. And that's the biggest scam they ever sold you. Nothing great comes easy. Nothing powerful is born in comfort. Everything worth having demands war. And here's the truth they don't want to admit. It's supposed to be hard. That's the beauty of it, because when it's hard, when you're exhausted, broken, and you still move forward, that's when you know you're different. That's when you feel your edge. That's when you look in the mirror and see someone who's no longer controlled by weakness. You want to feel powerful? Outwork every man in the room, outlast the pain, outgrow the excuses, outmaneuver the distractions. You'll feel it, the shift, that moment when you realize that no one can match your pace, your energy, your will to win. That's when you start living as a weapon. That's when people start watching, wondering, admiring, because they can feel that you don't stop, that you're not built like them, that the hustle isn't something you do, it's who you are. So here's your choice. Keep living like the average man, waiting, hoping, repeating cycles that lead nowhere. Or become the rare breed, the one who doesn't flinch when it's tough, the one who finds energy when others are drained, the one who keeps climbing while the rest turn back. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to never stop, because the hustle doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care about your doubts. It doesn't care how you slept last night. The hustle respects one thing only: effort. And the man who gives more than anyone else, he gets more than anyone else. That's the formula. That's the game. Play it harder than anyone you've ever known, and you'll win every time. There was a time when I had nothing. Not in a poetic Instagram quit kind of way. I mean literally nothing. No status, no backup, no soft landing if I fell, just a man with no options and no fallback plan, staring down the barrel of reality. I remember sitting in that freezing apartment, lights off because the bill hadn't been paid, heating off because the meter was empty, no food, no distractions, just silence. And silence, when you're losing, is the loudest thing on earth. It screams at you. It exposes you. It forces you to confront the truth. Nobody is coming to save you. I could have laid down. I could have said this is too much, but there was something in me, something primal, something that whispered, this is the moment that separates the weak from the ones who rise. I still remember waking up every morning with froths in my breath, wrapping my hands in socks because gloves were a luxury. I'd get up, look in the cracked mirror and say, no one is going to outwork me today. Not while I breathe, because while everyone else was trying to find balance, I was finding a way to survive. I trained in basements, ran in broken shoes, studied in silence. Nobody saw it, nobody clapped, nobody cared. And that's what made me dangerous. I wasn't doing it for attention. I wasn't doing it for validation. I was doing it because deep down I knew if I can outwork every man alive, I will outlive every failure. One night, I walked for 2 hours in the rain to borrow a friend's internet to study trading charts. I sat there for hours, soaked, shivering, but dialed in like my life depended on it, because it did. I wasn't chasing dreams. I was escaping nightmares. I had no luxury of comfort. I wasn't dreaming of yachts or fast cars. Back then, I just wanted freedom. I wanted the ability to wake up without fear, to move through the world without begging. That kind of hunger, it rewires your DNA. It makes you allergic to excuses. It turns you into a machine. I didn't take weekends. I didn't ask for breaks, because I knew that somewhere there's a man who's working like a demon, and if I pause, he wins. And over time, things started to shift. Not because the world became fair, not because luck showed up, but because I refused to stop. Every failure was another lesson. Every no was another reason to keep moving. I didn't cry. I recalibrated. I didn't collapse. I calculated. When people slept, I studied. When people celebrated, I planned. And when they gave up, I doubled down. You think success is about some trick, some hack? No, success is about becoming the man who keeps pushing when there's no applause, no reward, and no light at the end of the tunnel. I didn't win because I was special. I won because I never stopped pushing. One day, I remember walking past that same apartment I used to freeze in. I had just closed a deal that paid more in one day than my father made in a year, but I didn't feel pride. I felt clarity. I realized that everything I had now, status, wealth, power, was just the byproduct of suffering I refused to run from. People say, you lucky? Nah. I made decisions when most men would have made excuses. I pushed when everything screamed at me to quit. I rewrote my destiny with sweat, blood, and repetition. And now, when I walk into a room, I don't need to speak loud. I don't need to prove anything, because I know I outwork them all. I earned every scar, every dollar, every ounce of respect. That's what hustle really means. Not showing off, not pretending, but knowing in your soul that you went further, harder, and longer than anyone else would dare. If you're sitting there thinking, maybe it's too late for me, let me kill that lie now. It's not too late. It's never too late. You just haven't suffered enough yet. You haven't pushed past the barrier. You haven't silenced the weak voice in your head and replaced it with the voice of a killer. You want your life to change? Then stop negotiating with comfort. Stop acting like effort is optional. Stop treating your future like a hobby. The grind isn't a season, it's a lifestyle. The hustle never stops. Because the man who outworks everyone can't be denied. This isn't about becoming rich. This is about becoming unbreakable. This is about being the kind of man who commands respect without asking for it, who walks into any arena and knows you may be more talented, but you're not more prepared, you're not more disciplined, you're not more obsessed. That kind of confidence is built in the shadows. It's earned when no one sees you. And the moment you start chasing that version of yourself, the one who never stops, you become unstoppable. So remember this, you can either suffer the pain of discipline or suffer the pain of regret. One builds you, one buries you. The choice is yours. But understand this truth. The man who never stops, who never slows down, who never gives in to fatigue or fear, he wins every single time. Most people are terrified of the truth. And here it is. You are being outworked right now. As you read this, somewhere in the world, there's a man who doesn't care how tired he is. He doesn't care that it's raining. He doesn't care that he had a bad day. He's still grinding, still pushing, still bleeding through the pain. And while you're deciding whether or not you feel motivated, he's widening the gap inch by inch, hour by hour, until eventually he's so far ahead you'll need a telescope to see him. And by then, it's too late. You've already lost. Not because you weren't smart enough, not because you weren't talented enough, but because he simply wanted it more than you. He was willing to do what you weren't. He treated every second like it mattered. And that is the scariest part. The game doesn't forgive laziness. You need to understand how fast time moves when you waste it. Every lazy morning is a bullet through your potential. Every skipped workout, every ignored opportunity, every distraction you indulge, they all have a cost. But the cost isn't visible right away. That's why it's dangerous. The price of comfort is paid slowly, invisibly, until one day you wake up and realize you've traded your greatness for mediocrity. And the man who used to dream now lives in regret. Comfort is the slowest poison on earth. It doesn't kill you instantly. It numbs you, weakens you, makes you forget what it felt like to want something so badly that you die for it. That fire, most people lose it. They get domesticated by routine, tamed by routine jobs, hypnotized by entertainment. They don't even realize they've been caged. But some of us remember, fear is not your enemy. Comfort is. Fear will push you. Fear will sharpen your mind and tighten your focus. But comfort, it will seduce you. It'll tell you you've done enough. It'll whisper, take a break. You deserve it. And the moment you listen, the moment you slow down, you've given your competition everything they need to bury you. People love to fantasize about success, but fantasizing is worthless. It's a drug for the weak. The strong understand that reality is brutal. If you don't put in the hours, you don't deserve the results. That's not negativity. That's the law of the universe. You don't rise by wishing, you rise by grinding. Here's a trigger nobody talks about. Your future self is watching you. Every choice you make right now, every decision to grind or slack builds the man you're becoming. You think you're procrastinating? No. You're shaping the version of you who will either dominate life or be eaten alive by it. You can lie to everyone around you, but you can't lie to the mirror. You'll look at your own reflection and know deep down, I didn't give it everything. That's the kind of guilt that haunts men for decades, the kind they try to drown in alcohol or distract with nonsense, but it never leaves because your conscience knows the truth, and the truth is brutal. You had time, you had chances, you just didn't outwork anyone. People think rock bottom is a place. No, it's a mindset. It's when you accept less. It's when you look at your life and say, this is okay, when you know damn well it's not. Rock bottom is when you stop demanding more from yourself. That's when you've lost the game. You want to avoid hell? Then start building heaven with your own hands, because nobody's coming to deliver it. Your hustle is the only lifeline you'll ever be thrown. And the longer you wait to pull, the deeper you drown. You want freedom? Then work like a prisoner trying to break out. You want power? Then earn it through hours no one sees. There are no shortcuts, there are no secrets, there is only relentless, savage work ethic. You're not tired, you're uninspired, you're not overwhelmed, you're under-disciplined. Stop using your circumstances as an excuse. Some of the most powerful men on earth crawled through hell to get where they are. Not because they were lucky, but because they refused to stay soft. You were not born to be average. You were not born to bow. You were built to rise. The only thing stopping you is the story you tell yourself when things get hard. Change the story, change the outcome. Let me hit you with the harshest reality of all. Your family's future depends on your hustle. You think you're just working for yourself? You're wrong. One day your kids will either live in abundance or scarcity because of the work you put in today. One day your name will either be remembered with pride or forgotten in the fog of mediocrity. And all of it will come down to one thing. Did you outwork every man who wanted what you wanted? Because if you didn't, someone else did. And now they're living your dream, spending your money, and standing on the throne you were too lazy to build. So what do now? You go to war with your excuses, with your laziness, with your weaknesses. You wake up earlier, you train harder, you study deeper, you push further, because that's what men of value do. They don't make noise, they make moves. They don't talk about goals, they conquer them. And they understand that the hustle isn't something you do, it's something you become. A machine, a force, a weapon. One that doesn't slow, doesn't beg, doesn't break. That's the level, that's the goal. The man who keeps pushing when every cell in his body screams for rest, that's the man who wins. Now ask yourself, are you that man? Or are you still fantasizing about becoming him? Because the gap between those two is paved with hours, sweat, sacrifice, and silence. And only one of them survives. You have to reach a point in life where working hard isn't a choice, it's a reflex. It's not about feeling inspired or waiting for a wave of motivation. It's about waking up and doing what needs to be done no matter what. Because when your name's on the line, when your future depends on it, when your legacy is being carved every single day, there's no time to wait for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is the one you're breathing in right now. You either act on it or you watch someone else capitalize while you stay frozen in fantasy. You think winning happens in the spotlight? No. Winning is forged in the lonely hours, the ones no one sees, no one claps for, and no one cares about, except the man who refuses to be average. The problem is most people don't even realize they're moving with the herd. They're blending in, obeying every limitation they've been handed, never questioning the script. Get a job, watch TV, complain, repeat. They're stuck in the cycle because they never dare to rewrite the rules. But the ones who win, those rare, dangerous few, they aren't built from comfort. They're built from obsession. They work when it hurts. They grind when it's inconvenient. They push when others pause. And that's what separates the lions from the lambs. The lion doesn't need applause. He doesn't care if anyone's watching. He moves with purpose, with precision, with power, because he knows if he stops hunting, he starves. There are men who talk about what they're going to do, and then there are men who show up and just do it. Again and again until the results scream so loud no one can ignore them. You don't need to announce your hustle. You need to become so undeniable they're forced to notice. That's power. That's the kind of energy that shakes rooms and breaks ceilings. Not because you begged for it, but because you earned it. Because while everyone else was debating, hesitating, and making excuses, you were building brick by brutal brick. Understand this. Success doesn't care about how many setbacks you've had. It doesn't care that you feel tired. It doesn't care that your past was unfair. It only cares about one thing: how bad you want it now. Right now. Not someday, not when you're ready. Now. You want to live like a king? Then start sacrificing like a warrior. You want to wear the crown? Then carry the weight. It's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to test every inch of your willpower. It's supposed to make you bleed, to break you down and dare you to rebuild. And if you've got the heart, you'll rise stronger than ever. But if you fold, you'll stay exactly where you are, praying for miracles that never come. The hustle is a battlefield. And every day, you wake up in enemy territory. Laziness wants to ambush you. Distractions are trying to seduce you. Weakness is whispering sweet lies in your ear. And the only way you win, the only way you survive, is by fighting harder than them all. There are no shortcuts through this war, only strategy, sweat, and relentless willpower. The hustle isn't a phase, it's a lifestyle. It doesn't take breaks, it doesn't take weekends, it doesn't care about holidays. While others are sleeping in, the real ones are stacking wins. While others are celebrating minor victories, the real ones are preparing for the next level, because they understand you don't coast to greatness. You claw your way up a mountain of discipline, sacrifice, and obsession. And here's the truth nobody wants to admit. You're not unlucky. You're just not working hard enough. That hurts to hear, but it's reality. The moment you own that truth, you gain control. You take your power back. Because once you stop blaming the world and start owning your grind, everything changes. Your results, your mindset, your bank account, your reputation, it all shifts the second you decide to outwork every soul who dares to stand in your way. They had more money. Doesn't matter. Outwork them. They had connections. Doesn't matter. Outwork them. They were ahead. Doesn't matter. Outwork them. That's your answer to everything. Grind until the excuses disappear. And I get it. Life will throw punches. You'll lose people. You'll face failure. You'll question your worth. But that's when the real champions are born. Not in peace, but in chaos. Not in applause, but in silence. When there's nothing left but your own reflection and your own grind, that's when you find out who you really are. And if you've been doing it right, you'll smile through the pain because you know this is what builds empires. This is what creates legends. You don't need easy, you need progress, you need pressure, you need the fire, because pressure creates diamonds and fire forges steel. And if you want to be unbreakable, you better be ready to live in both. So, here's what you do. Get up, grind again, shut up and work, push past the doubt, bury the fear, rise through the pain, and never stop. Because that's what separates the men who dream from the men who dominate. The hustle doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't wait for the right mood. It wakes you up at 5 a.m. and tells you to earn your place. Every single day. That's the game. And if you've got what it takes, if you've got the guts to outwork everyone who ever doubted you, you'll win. And when you win, you won't even need to speak. Your success will do the talking for the rest of your life. You've listened, you've absorbed, now it's time to decide. Because all the words in the world mean nothing if you don't act. Motivation without execution is just noise. And you weren't born to be background static. You were born to make the ground shake when you move, to force the world to pay attention when you enter a room. And the only way that happens is if you take everything you felt, every moment of anger, frustration, hope, desire, and turn it into action so loud the universe can't ignore you. You don't need a plan. You need a reason so powerful that quitting is no longer an option. That's what this life demands. A reason so rooted in your soul that you'd rather bleed than break. This world is full of people who try to calm you down, make you small, convince you that wanting more is wrong. Don't listen to them. They've already surrendered. They traded their fire for comfort, and they'll do anything to extinguish yours. But you're not built like them. You don't want ease, you want dominance. You don't want normal, you want elite. You're not chasing survival, you're chasing legacy. And legacy is not built on thoughts. It's not built on feelings, it's built on ruthless discipline and nonstop execution. Day in, day out, when it's raining, when it's tough, when you're tired, especially when you're tired, because that's when champions are made. If you only grind when it feels good, you'll never make it. Understand that, burn it into your bones. Right now there's a version of you, stronger, sharper, richer, faster, wiser, already alive in your mind. The only thing standing between you and him is time and what you do with it. Every hour you waste is a brick removed from that empire. Every excuse you feed is a dagger in the back of your potential. And every second you hesitate, someone else, some hungrier, meaner, more obsessed individual is using that same second to outwork you. While you debate, he dominates. While you rest, he rises. While you overthink, he overtakes. And you better pray to God you never have to face him, because when you do, you'll see what true obsession looks like. And it'll burn through every excuse you ever made. Stop waiting for permission. You don't need it. You never did. No one's coming to save you. No one's coming to push you. This is your life, your battle, your destiny. And the best part, it's all in your control. You can flip the switch right here, right now. You can kill off the weak version of yourself, the one who hesitates, who quits, who plays it safe, and resurrect the beast that's been hiding underneath. Every man has a savage inside him, but most are too scared to meet him. That savage is the version of you that never complains, never stalls, never runs. He wakes up and gets after it, even when his body aches and the world's against him. And he wins because he refuses to be anything else. Here's the hard truth. You will never get this moment back. Not this hour, not this day. It's slipping right now, gone forever. And what you choose to do with it will echo in the life you live next year, in 5 years, in 20. You're not just building a life, you're building the man you'll have to wake up as every single day. So what kind of man do you want to be? One who's haunted by regret? Or one who's admired in silence because he made the sacrifice no one else was willing to? You don't need more time. You need more action. Time is the lie lazy men tell themselves while their dreams rot in their minds. You don't owe anyone an explanation for going all in on yourself. You don't need to prove your grind to people who've never built anything. Let them talk. Let them mock you. Let them sleep. Because when the dust settles, it's not the loudest voice that wins. It's the one who worked the hardest when no one was looking. That's what it means to outwork everyone. Not because you want to be seen, but because you've decided that losing is no longer an option. You've made a contract with yourself that you'll pay the price for greatness, no matter how high it gets. This is the final warning. Stop Stop watching others live the life you want. Stop scrolling and start building. Stop talking and start moving. Stop comparing and start conquering. Because there is no competition, only those who grind and those who don't. And in that truth lies your power. You don't need to beat everyone. You just need to outwork them. Day by day, hour by hour, set your pace so ferocious that no one can keep up. Even if they try, so what now? You go all in. No breaks, no doubts, no turning back. You become the storm. You become the machine. You become the name they whisper when they talk about work ethic. You become so locked in that nothing, not fear, not failure, not fatigue can slow you down. You chase that next level like your life depends on it, because it does. And when the world finally sees what you've built, they won't call you lucky, they'll call you inevitable. The hustle never stops, and neither will you. Now go earn your name.